It is quite alarming that a father, someone's husband, not only someone's husband, someone that was meant to talk in public, that people will literally listen to, that people will listen to his advice, now took to the live show. And the only thing he can say is to literally write the handwriting clear on the wall that this is what we should be going for. That any other thing you're thinking, do not think on that aspect. Let's make sure we get this. Let's make sure we grab it. Let's make sure that this thing is literally in our hands. And if we do not do that, at the end of the day, we will be going to prison, including me, myself, that is talking. That is what he said. I am not the one that said it. And when I listened to this particular speech and I listened to some of the reactions that American actually did, I was moved to share this educational video because at the end of the day, these people literally do not learn how to curtail their words. They just go ahead and say whatsoever they think they should be saying. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, I want you guys to watch this video from beginning to the end and let me know your honest opinion about what you think. Let's get right into this, guys, and I'll be back with commentaries.
Tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
What Bannon said, Trump in a third term, are you crazy? But let's play along. What would actually happen if Trump refused to leave office? Not the internet jokes, I mean like for real. What if he refused? Because it's not as simple as people think. And if that moment ever came, it's not going to look like one dramatic standoff. It's going to look like confusion, chaos, and power being tested in ways that this country has never really faced before. The Constitution doesn't give the president an option to stay. Their term ends automatically at noon on January 20th. At that exact moment, the presidency transfers, whether they like it or not. So if Trump refused to leave, he'd immediately stop being the commander-in-chief. No more legal authority, no more nuclear codes, no more Air Force One, no more tax dollars. But here's where it gets a little dangerous, because law and power don't always move at the same speed, right? The Constitution is just paper. Enforcing it depends on people. The military, Secret Service, federal agencies. It depends on them actually doing their jobs. So if Trump refused to step down, the Secret Service would answer to the new president, not him. They'd be legally required to escort him out. Like any other trespasser, I would pay money to see that. And the military? They've already said they wouldn't take orders from an illegitimate president. But that's the legal version. The political version is much messier. Because Trump's power doesn't come from the office, it comes from loyalty. He's built a movement inside law enforcement, inside Congress, inside parts of the military, and millions of civilians who think that any election that doesn't favor him is rigged. And that's not fringe. That's a parallel chain of command. So let's say it happens. Trump loses again and calls it fake. He tells his cult members he's staying put. He pressures governors, judges, members of Congress. Some obey the law and some don't. And before you know it, you've got a split government, one operating under reality and one operating under loyalty. That's not a coup in the traditional sense, right? That's fragmentation. That's how democracies collapse. Not with a bang, but with competing claims to legitimacy. And while the rest of the world watches, markets crash, allies freeze, and everyday Americans start asking who's really in charge now. But the truth is, if Trump refuses to leave, the bigger danger wouldn't just be him staying in the White House. It would be how many people let him. Because his power doesn't depend on breaking the rules. It depends on people being too scared, too confused, or too loyal to enforce them. And what happened on January 6th showed us. It doesn't take the whole country to break democracy. It just takes enough people in key positions willing to pretend that the rules don't apply. So yeah, if Trump ever refused to leave office, the law says he'd just become a trespasser. But the reality is he'd become a symbol, one that pushes America right up to the edge of its own myth. Because the real test wouldn't be Trump versus the White House. It would be truth versus loyalty. And history shows once a country starts choosing loyalty over law, it doesn't matter who's in office. You've already lost democracy.
Guys, okay, listen to this. Here's a little motivation for the 2026 election. Here's a little motivation. Steve Bannon came out, after the Tuesday elections. Why, by the way, congratulations, Democrats. Y'all did a huge blue tsunami. Okay? Great job, great job. So much so you got them shaking in their boots now. Steve Bannon announced that if they lose the 2026 election midterms, that the Democrats would get Trump out of the office. And if they lose in 2028, that they're all going to jail, including him. He said, if we lose, we're going to jail. I'm voting. You got my vote. Don't threaten me with a good time. Yes, sir. So for anyone who needs a little motivation to get up and go vote, if you want to see all these criminals, all these habitual criminals, all these pedophiles, y'all want to see some justice, go out and vote. And we can have these send-off parties. We can send them off to the jailhouse in style. Who with me? Who with me? Who you with? Who you with? I said let's send all their ass to jail. Yeah, we done suffered enough in state term. So anybody need a little extra to get out and go vote? Steve Bannon just gave me everything I need. Baby, I would be camping out on the election lines. Come, they scared. Oh, and also the one of the founders, original author of 2025 of Project 2025. Well, they flee in the country. Yeah, he flee in the country. He said ain't nothing going like they planned it. It's not going like it was supposed to go. So he finna vamp. Is anybody else having a good time with this? Because I sure am.
I remember when myself and many of my mutuals and many people that I follow were telling everyone to take heed of how the government is going to be ran going forward, because everything that they're going to be doing is illegal. Nothing that they're going to do is legally moral. I remember myself, my mutuals, and other people that I follow reading scripts from Project 2025, telling everybody what was going to happen, telling everybody the steps, telling everybody to go read it. I remember being called fat cow, fearmonger, propaganda spreader, blah, 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 whatever. I got called N-word, all kind of ish, right? Like it, all kind of ish. Well, kudos to me and my mutuals and those that I followed that had common sense, right? Because Stephen fat fucking Bannon, that hypertension, big, woolly mammoth looking mofo, stood at the microphone in front of thousands of MAGA supporters and said they did not expect what happened on Tuesday. This is what happens when you vote properly. This is what happens when you vote in the interest of democracy and when you don't vote in the interest of just yourself because you don't think anything else applies to you, right? So they were very shocked, bamboozled, flabbergasted that what happened happened. And he said that if this happens next year, Houston, they have a problem. He said that if Democrats take over next year, that the entire Trump administration, including himself and the people who are sitting out in the crowd, will be in prison. Let me tell you something. People do not go to prison. Well, let me reframe that. People who are guilty don't just go to prison for no reason. Because I was going to say people who go to prison
don't go to prison for no reason, but we know how y'all like to pin crimes on black men, right? And y'all know, and then we get exonerated later on, or black men get exonerated later on. But that's not who I'm talking about. We're talking about people who are guilty 1000% because the things that they have done is morally wrong. It is morally unethical. It is illegal federally, on a state level, on a city level, nationwide level, national level. United States will be charged with being a war criminal if Democrats take over for 2026. And Stephen Bannon is saying this out of his mouth because he knows that the shit that they did was all illegal. None of it is supposed to be done. They did everything wrong. And the problem is that they thought that they would be able to get away with it. This is not how they intended for this to go. They are being bamboozled the way they tried to bamboozle us. And that is why it is so fucking important to do 3 things. Read, educate, and vote. When you do these 3 things, when you can critically think, when you can read, and when you can educate other people, it spreads a fire to get other people to talk about things that are swept under the rug. It is why Christians do not like critical free thinkers, because you cannot control someone who was able to read the information themselves, process the information, and spread that information accurately. They wanted their propaganda to spread a little bit more, but it was not able to. Fox News didn't have the controlling power, and we were able to see how people like Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk flipped the script on them, started speaking the quiet parts very loud. People like Candace Owens, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, how their own clique, the people that they were locked in, how they quickly switched, and how people from their party who have devoted Trump supporters, the least educated, were stripped of their benefits that they didn't think would apply to them. How when you try to stab someone in the back and the front, how they will take that knife out the front and stab you in your throat. And that is exactly what happened on Tuesday. They did not expect Mississippi to have blue, because it has been forever a red state. But when you impact the poorest of the poor, when people go hungry, the worst thing you can do is starve people out. That is one of the worst things you can do. Famine causes irrational behaviors. But famine can also cause people to start seeing how you never gave a fuck about them. Because if you were a Christian, you would never let someone go hungry. Stephen Bannon is saying the quiet parts loud. And he is telling you all that what they are doing is not right. It is not legal. And internationally, they will be brought up in charges. And federally, they will be brought up on charges. The states will then charge them. Baby, it will be a bloodbath for the Republican Party. And what's going to happen? It will be a domino effect. Because when they take down the top, that top will take down everybody else who's at the bottom to save their top of their ass. And the top person is who's in charge of that Heritage Foundation. That's why he got the fuck up out of here. That's exactly why he got up out of here. J.D. Vance, Erica Kirk, Stephen Bannon, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, Cash Patel, RFK Jr., Dr. Oz, all of these motherfuckers know that what they're doing is illegal. All of them. And what is going to happen? When one comes crumbling down, they all come crumbling down. It is time that we get out in them voting booths. Become the bowling ball to these motherfucker pins and strike their ass out. Stephen Bannon is telling you. He's telling you. You have to be able to critically think and listen to what they are saying. Donald Trump said he likes the poorly educated. The ones who do not have critical thinking abilities, who are just easily manipulated. He said so. Smart people do not like me. Well, smart people are able to critically think. Smart people are able to read. Smart people are able to conduct themselves without needing aid from other people. For those that are poorly educated, you need aid. You cannot critically think because you're illiterate. So it is time for you to start working on yourself.
Because I know that y'all really don't be taking me seriously. Like y'all really just think I be on this app hooting and hollering. Okay. Some of y'all be ready to tussle with me inside the comments. All the time. Trying to be able to say I'm wrong. So I'm gonna bring somebody else to help make my point. Just give me a second.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Yeah, so hopefully y'all actually start believing me when I say that midterms is a big deal. Not just to us, but definitely to them. Yeah, he's talking to a room of conservatives. And he literally said, if we don't win it, all y'all in here and me's is going to jail. I've been hooting and hollering about midterms for how long? Okay, y'all was out here trying to just make it seem like I was, the boy that cried wolf. But who knows? Maybe a conservative saying the same exact thing. You believe them instead of,
I've been playing this clip of Steve Bannon saying that if Republicans lose the elections in 2026 and 2028, they're going to jail. But the clip says a lot more than that. Listen to this.
If we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They are getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. We have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order. Right? We've got to put aside these structural barriers and get on with it. Some of the guys elected in some of these institutions, I understand this is a very tough decision to make. And you're going to see some people in the conservative movement. These are heavy hitters on what I would call the constitutional, limited government constitutionalist in our movement. And they're about to come out over the next couple of days and make this argument because now, with a sense of urgency, and in doing this, seize the institutions. If we don't do that now, we're going to lose this chance forever.
They are freaking out about what happened on Tuesday across the country. Republicans had no major wins on Tuesday. And it was also about major losses. In some races, Republicans lost by double digits. This is why he's calling the people radicals, that they're voting, they're using the system to get rid of fascists. And in typical fascist form, he's saying we have to get rid of the system. He is talking about getting rid of structural barriers that will hold them accountable. We are not crazy when we say that they are committing crimes. Things that they are doing are unconstitutional, are straight up illegal. And they know it. He is trying to tell Republicans, even established Republicans, you need to get rid of this Constitution and this system and follow Trump, codify whatever he wants, or else we're going to prison. And like he said, we're burning sunlight. So he knows with the 2026 elections just right around the corner, they need to start moving as quickly as possible to cheat and remain in power and out of prison. So share this so people can be on the lookout for the wild things that Republicans are going to try to do to stay in power.
Good morning, cousins. I got political thoughts. Hope you got your coffee. So, y'all remember how during last year's election cycle, many of us kept saying how the GOP, the Republican Party, are lying to you when it comes to the Democratic Party. But they were telling the truth about all the things that they were going to do, whether it was mass deportations, whether it's getting rid of DEI, whether it was massive firings, although at the same time talking about they're going to bring back jobs, all this hoopla. And remember when most of us were telling you that this was going to happen? Remember that I said they were talking out both sides of their neck, and people were like, no, you're just fear mongering. Remember that? Were y'all paying attention to this week's news cycle? Hold, please. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, I encourage you to go watch this video because it's gold. He said if we lose the majority, they will try to end the Trump administration. Duh. He won't have 4 years. Yes. He'll only have 2. Duh. Because they will move to impeach him again, probably on the first day of the new Congress in January 2027. Let's hope. And try to systematically unwind all the important reforms that we have done. That is our hope. Don't threaten us with a good time. But y'all, let's keep going. Steve Bannon goes on to say, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. One can only hope you are going to jail, Steve Bannon. But let me just say this. They've always known what they have been doing is wrong, not just morally, ethically, and legally wrong. They've always known. The problem is people were believing the foolishness coming out of their mouth because they hated the idea of women being in power, black people being in power, people who are not straight, people who are not Christian being in power or having equality. They knew all of this before they got in office. And still, they ran on the disenfranchisement of anybody who is not a straight white male. And too many of you believed it. Too many of you believed it. And you still believe it. And we are in a process of where this administration is weaponizing hunger for the American people to push their policies. As a matter of fact, today, November 7th, the President of the United States has been ordered by a federal judge to release the funds for SNAP benefits. I'm waiting to see what happens if he doesn't do it. What will the federal judges do? What will he do? I hope y'all ready to vote November 3rd, 2026, because this is about to be a
What Steve Bannon just said tonight.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
I mean, if these guys aren't running scared, I have never seen Steve Bannon talk like this before. They are so spooked by what happened the other night with that whole blue tsunami, that blue wave that raced across America, right? In New York and even Pennsylvania and New Jersey and Virginia and out here in California. They are freaking out. Their plan is just not happening. And so what Steve Bannon was doing there in front of whatever the crowd was, it was probably 10 people. It's like trying to rally the troops. Like they're going to do something about this. They see how quickly we can rally our troops. We did those No Kings days, and then we came out and we voted. And these guys are running scared. And did you see what he said? If we don't do something about this, some of us are going to end up in prison, including me, meaning himself, Steve Bannon. I love it.
You right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not.
Jail? What do you mean you're going to jail? Is there something you want to tell us? Is there something you want to share with the class? Yeah, what you mean jail? Only people who say that are people who commit crimes. You're giving very much rat. Hey, Proud Boys, Pe0ple, I don't know if you guys realize this, but you got to snitch amongst your mist. Because people who talk like that is people who are federal as hell. What crimes did you commit? Did it happen to have something to do with an island and a couple rich people? and some kids. I don't know. Since you opened your big mouth and you wanted to put this information out here voluntarily that you go into jail, why is that? Could that be the reason?
Tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Did Steve Bannon just threaten us with a good time? Because what I just heard, if you guys don't get out there and vote and let us continue to do our corrupt shit, to take money from you, then we just might get in trouble for it. We just proved New York, New Jersey, Virginia, California, if we just get out and vote, we can hold these people accountable. It's right out of Steve Bannon's mouth. They are scared. It's because they're corrupt. If you weren't corrupt, you wouldn't be scared. And it's up to us to get out and vote and hold these people accountable. It is us that holds the power, people, not them. Never forget that. Your power to vote is so much stronger than anything that this administration can do to us. Remember that. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. And if you guys haven't thrown me a follow yet, please do. Have a
2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
So that's it. Just like that. That's what it would take. Because I'm sure he was talking about Trump too. Like, we just got to win. Sounds like we got our work cut out. Like, what? I don't know. Every day. I just don't know.
Did y'all see those videos of Mike Johnson and Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon basically said, if we lose, we going to jail. Mike Johnson basically was saying the same stuff. Like, look, if y'all don't do, if we lose this is going to be bad for everybody involved. See, they knew the whole time. That's what we've been saying. None of this that they have done since that man has been in office the first or the second time was by happenstance. All these years, the Mitch McConnells and people like him needed a scapegoat to really drive into the areas that they wanted to drive into. See, they needed and Donald Trump was their scapegoat. See, that man was able to do and say the things that they didn't have the courage to say. He said, yeah, I say it. I do it. I do it. They know me. I do it. And he did it. See, so all of the things this first and second term that they have done and are doing is they know it's criminal. They know it's unethical. They know. Nothing happened. Nothing is happening. Just, oh, we didn't realize. No, they knew. They tried to do it. They're weaponizing everything. Now they're weaponizing hunger. Like all of this is real. All of this they have done. And all of you, a lot of y'all supported the mess. You know why? Because y'all hated everybody else and thought that everything would catch us and catch people of color and black people before it caught y'all. But y'all didn't realize that all of it is a double-edged sword. Because injustice anywhere is always a threat to justice everywhere. If you allow something to go wrong or with one person or one group, don't worry, it's coming down your street sooner or later in one form or another. And y'all allowed it because y'all wanted it. Y'all wanted somebody who spoke and thought the things that you all have been thinking and speaking for years in private. And that man was him. See, so yeah, now that Mike Johnson and Steve Bannon, all of them are speaking up and saying the parts out loud, the quiet parts out loud, don't be surprised. Because again, I say, they knew, they know. And it's up to this country to now stop it.
Honestly, I don't know what Steve was thinking before he actually said that. But whatsoever he was thinking or whatsoever be the mindset that made him said that was actually a wrong mindset. Because at the end of the day, this is not what he should literally said in public. Anyways, I'm not even surprised because a lot of these folks do not literally know how to curtail their words, even in public or in private. We have seen different text messages leaked, and I've been able to bring that video. I think that was last month or last 2 months, where you literally see what these people are thinking of Black people. So I'm not surprised. But one thing I need to say is, Black Americans, get ready. Where do you guys literally want this prison to be? Yes, because the way things is going, they are definitely going to lose. So it simply means that they are going to prison, including Steve. I didn't say it. He said it. He said if they lost, that they are literally going to prison, including himself that is standing there. So where are you guys building the prison? I would love this prison to be in Nigeria, because if you know the depth of Nigerian prison and how wicked and how Nigerian prison is, I think this is actually what suits MAGA, so that they can come and enjoy what it means to be in prison, not being in prison in the US and just having just some little restriction. Because how can a man, a honorable man, actually open up his mouth to say this type of abomination in the public? So what are you thinking? Are you saying that the election should be rigged? Are you saying that they should start preparing people so that you guys can actually win? Are you saying that no any other party deserve to be a winner except for the Republicans? I don't know what Stephen was thinking before he literally said this. Oh, please, if you know what he was actually thinking before he said this, let me know in the comment section. Because as at this time, I am still surprised like hell that a matured adult that every single person is supposed to listen to would take to we take to the public social media and decided to say this horrible and horrific thing. And Black Americans, this is one thing I want to tell you guys, that you guys should literally be educating some of these people that are not really wide open when it comes to education. Because I feel like if not for the stage of internet right now, that a lot of people are not being able to see what is happening, to see that, okay, this decision that I've actually made was a wrong decision. Initially, a lot of people are not educated to know what all of this is all about. And that is why I do not want you guys to literally keep quiet. You guys need to keep talking. You guys need to keep pushing. You guys need to keep doing every single thing you are supposed to do, so that at the end of the day, by the special grace of God by our side, we are going to build some prisons for these people. I didn't say it. He said it. We saw it in the video. A lot of people reacted to it. Not like I'm the only one that actually reacted to it, because honestly, I don't know what Stephen was thinking. But if you know what Stephen was thinking, let me know in the comment section, so that at the end of the day, I'm going to see if there's actually a reason behind this is thinking, and so on and so forth. And for the first clip I actually played, sorry, the second clip, you can literally hear Ashley where she said that, what if Trump refused to leave the office? What will happen? What if Trump decides that he is not leaving, his tenure is not going to expire? What will literally be the fate of American? I don't know. When I actually saw that particular clip, I feel like a lot of things are tied up to these Republicans and wanting to like win every single thing. But we also need to be praying. Aside from that, we also need to be educating each other. We also need to be guiding each other. We also need to know that us kin folks are not kind folks. Like, you literally need to know your space, know where you belong, and know how you can actually build your own community. And for a lot of people that are there thinking that Black people are not actually, they don't not literally have any community, I don't know. Maybe when that time comes, you guys are literally going to see every single thing that the Lord has. But let's keep our fingers crossed then, and let's start planning where we're actually going to be building this prison for when these people lose, according to what Steven said. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do what? Subscribe. I stand a chance to be corrected. I keep saying it. This is me just giving my own opinionistic opinion. So feel free to correct me in the comment section if you think probably I'm saying something wrong or blah 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 like that, right? Anyways, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.